All right, so if you're a theme designer and you've ever wanted to build powerful, reusable components without getting totally lost in the back-end code, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the new XMF 2.0 widget system. Now, for those new to this world, XMF is the modern framework for the XOOS CMS. And believe me, this new system is about to completely change how you build themes. Let's dive in. So let's start with the why, right? If you've ever had to fight with the old XOXO blocks, the chaos you see on the left probably gives you a little PTSD. We're talking manual registration, these cryptic configurations, and that constant fear that one tiny error could bring down the entire page. Well, the new XMF widget system, it just replaces all that chaos with pure order. We're talking auto-discovery, forms that literally build themselves, and, my personal favorite, contained errors. That's right, a broken widget will never break your page again. Okay, so how do you actually build one of these things? It's a beautifully simple two-file process that puts all the power right back where it belongs, in your hands, the designer's hands. You can forget about wrestling with complex PHP. All you need is a blueprint for what the widget does and a design file to control how it looks. Let's break those two files down. First up, you've got widget.json. This is the manifest, and you can just think of it as the widget's blueprint. It's where you define all its settings and properties. The second file is a Smarty TPL template, and that is all about the design. It controls the visual layout. And that's the core idea here. Data and design, kept completely separate. And seriously, just look at how simple this blueprint can be. This is a real-world manifest for a hero widget. You're setting a unique name for the system, a nice user-friendly title for the admin, and then you define properties like heading and subheading with some default values. And it's all inside this clean JSON file. The big takeaway here? Absolutely no PHP required. And here is the other half of that puzzle, the template file. This is your playground. It's just clean HTML with these really simple Smarty tags. You can see how less than heading, subheading pull those values directly from the manifest we just looked at. This is that clean separation of data and design in action, and it's just beautiful. Okay, this is awesome for static content, but let's be real. The real magic happens when you hook this up to live data. What if you want your widget to show, say, the most recent blog posts, pulled right from the database? Well, let's take this to the next level. Now, this is usually the point where you would brace yourself for some complicated backend PHP, but the new system handles this with a surprisingly elegant solution that, again, keeps you, the designer, firmly in control. The magic happens with something called a data provider. Now, don't let the name intimidate you at all. It's just a small, really focused little bit of PHP code that has one job, and one job only. Go fetch some data for your widget and then hand it back as a simple array. So a module developer, a backend dev, they might write a class that looks something like this to go get the data. But what's really, really cool is how you, the theme designer, connect all that backend logic to your visual widget. The entire connection is made with this, a single line in your widget.json file. By adding this data provider key, you're basically telling the system, hey, go run that PHP class and just feed whatever data it finds directly into my template. And just like that, your exclamation point heading tag isn't static anymore. It's showing the title of the latest blog post. It really is that simple. Okay, so our widget has data, it's dynamic. Now let's talk about the fun part for us designers, styling it. And more importantly, how we can solve one of the biggest headaches out there, managing CSS and avoiding those dreaded style conflicts. The system uses this really powerful concept called variants. What this lets you do is create multiple visual styles for the same widget. So think about having a carousel view and a grid view for your blog posts. Each one has its own unique template, its own look, but they're both powered by the exact same data. You don't have to duplicate any of the logic. And this right here, brilliantly illustrates probably one of my favorite features. You can attach CSS and JavaScript files directly to a specific variant, right inside your manifest. Look at this variant assets property. It tells the system that the carousels.css file should only be loaded when the carousel variant is actually on the page. So here's how the system actually prevents those style conflicts. When a page gets built, the system sees, okay, the carousel variant is being used here. It then looks in your manifest, finds the specific CSS file that's linked only to that variant, and it loads it just for that one instance. It's this really surgical approach, and it means no more global CSS headaches. Your widget styles stay with your widget. It's fantastic. We have built our widget, we've styled it, now for the final and maybe most satisfying step. getting it onto a live page so an administrator can actually start using it. To create a new spot in your theme where an admin can just drag and drop widgets, all you have to do is add this one simple Smarty tag to your theme's template file. You just give it a unique name, something clear like Theme Homepage Top. Yup, that's it. One single line of code. This creates a new widget area in the system. And from that point on, an admin can go into the back end, they'll see your new widget area, and they can just drag and drop your awesome new hero widget right into it. So let's just take a step back and recap. This whole workflow is designed from the ground up to empower you, the designer. You can now build dynamic components, you can give them multiple styles, you can hook them up to live data, and you can define exactly where they can go in your theme, all without ever having to get tangled up in complicated back-end code. This new system genuinely shifts so much power into your hands. It's a complete game changer for theme development. Moving away from these rigid old structures to a flexible, component-based approach that you get to control. We absolutely cannot wait to see what you create with it. So the real question is, what are you going to build first?